On any given week, this next speaker could be anywhere in the world. So to have him here in Kansas is quite a treat for us. I want to welcome Ivo Ivanov, CEO of DE-CIX and the chair of DE-CIX Group AG. With 20 years in the internet and telecom space, Ivo has been recognized 3 years running for Capacity Magazine's Power 100 list of industry's most influential leaders. Since joining DE-CIX in 2007, he has driven the company's global expansion to more than 50 internet exchange locations worldwide, shaping interconnection across Europe, the Americas, Africa, the Middle East. It may be quicker to say where he hasn't done it. This year, a great celebration marks the 30th anniversary of DE-CIX, a milestone that reflects its enduring impact on the global internet. Ivo's vision also extends to education with the launch of the Global Interconnection Academy to train the next generation of experts. Fluent in 4 languages and with a background in law and business, he brings both strategic insight and global perspective to the future of digital infrastructure. He's going to need the whole front row here. He does not stand behind the podium. You're in for a real treat, folks. Please welcome Ivo Ivanov.
Thank you so much. Thank you. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen and friends of digitalization and digital infrastructure. Thanks for having me here in Wichita. It's my first trip to Wichita, definitely not the last one. And what a start, what a start. It's an amazing one. Thank you. Thank you, Tonya, for driving this innovation vision for the Wichita State University and the great tour you gave us today on the campus. And I was so impressed. Amazing organizations are here in Wichita. And thank you, Hunter and Tom and the entire CN Connected Nation teams for this great project. Now we all saw what will happen under the ground, how the fibers will arrive, how the data center will be built. Now there's something missing. We need to put a heart to this data center because otherwise the data center will be a closet for servers. And we want to change this. And the heart of a data center is the interconnection platform, delivering connectivity, density of networks, and building ecosystem. This is what DE-CIX does around the globe for 30 years now, with a great team behind, different nationalities. We won a lot of awards I'm very proud of. We're present in so many different metros around the globe and serve different type of interconnection services. I bet there are people in the room, they don't have a clue about an internet exchange. Those who have, they're just 2 slides explaining, so it will not be boring for you. But those who do not, see, this is what happens where there is no internet exchange. We have so many networks around, and they all need to interconnect to deliver services. If they interconnect bilaterally only, this will be the picture, and this is just an example using probably 12 dots only. Now imagine how the example will look like if you use 100 dots, 100 networks, what will be 1,000 and more. So this is what an internet exchange provides. It cleans up the picture, creates a very efficient, highly aggregated, cost-effective, and extremely secure. This is what an internet exchange does. That is a great analogy to an internet exchange using the example of an airport. And Wichita has a lot of airports, 17 airports, but not a single exchange. We will change this. We will introduce the internet exchange Wichita deserves. And the analogy goes like this. An airport operator takes care of security and reliable processes and systems allowing airlines to land their aircraft and take off and, of course, exchange a lot of passengers and luggage. And now, if we replace the airlines with networks, internet service operators, cloud service operators, and replace the luggage and the passengers with data packages, this is what an internet exchange does. We operate airports for the internet, creating a very, very secure ecosystem environment. And this is how the ecosystem of DE-CIX looks like today. 60 different markets around the globe, present in on 5 continents, as Tom mentioned earlier. We're very proud of this. More than 4,200 networks are connected on the different DE-CIX platforms, and this stays for the largest data center and carrier-neutral internet ecosystem on the planet. And Wichita will become part of this. I am so excited. In North America, we do operate already in 7 different markets. Ed D'Agostino is in the room. He's my director for North America, and we will add more and more markets, building the true digital America, all together with all the partners we do have. And I want to give you an example of a city well known. What can happen if a healthy ecosystem is created? We started the business in Dubai in 2012. And now you can ask me, why these guys does compare Dubai to Wichita or with Wichita? And there is a good reason, because in 2012, Dubai didn't have carrier-neutral data centers. Dubai didn't have an internet exchange. And 14 years later, I'll show you what the creation of an ecosystem, having data center, carrier-neutral data centers, having a carrier and data center-neutral internet exchange can deliver to the economy, to the region, to the city. We compared a lot of data using data from 2012, comparing to 2022, when we did celebrate the 10 years anniversary of DE-CIX. Look what happened. This is a great example what starts to happen if an ecosystem is in place. In 2012, only 3% of the content that is required to be accessible for the users was present in this region. 90% was outside. Like comparing this to the US, 90% of the content is on the East and the West Coast. But this doesn't work. We have to bring the content where the users are. And this happened. Now, 90% of the content is now in Dubai. This is another example of what happens if the ecosystem works. The cost for the affordability of services and digital innovation increases dramatically. You see, IP transit upstream, the price was 10 years back around $70 to $80. This is incredibly high. Nowadays is $1. And does anybody complain from the operators? No, because they got so much business in place that overcompensate certain cannibalizations, if any. And it's great for businesses and people in the region. And last but not least, latency, milliseconds. We will talk a lot about this today. 200 milliseconds was the status in 2012. Speed to top 20 content. We changed this to 3 milliseconds in 2022. And this makes the difference. Nowadays, applications cannot work on 200 milliseconds. We need the lowest latency possible. Another example for what healthy ecosystems contribute to economic growth. I'll give you the example of Frankfurt. This is where our business started 30 years back. In 1995 back. Now in 2025, this year, we produced a study that created a matrix about the, I would say, the power of the economic growth. And Frankfurt has been ranked on this study as #1 worldwide with this type of KPIs. More than 1,000 networks, 24 data centers, 18 terabit of traffic live. What does this mean for the economy? It means this: contribution of more than 4 billion euros to the GPR. This is amazing. The economic growth in Germany receives 4 billion just out of this ecosystem and contribution. And this is because of improving the resilience on network and the quality on digital services. Now, let's talk about latency. And latency, I call, is the new currency. This is so important today. because without latency, without low latency, we will not receive proper digital services. Is there someone who watched the latest Mission Impossible movie? There was this evil entity, they call it. And the evil entity wanted to destroy the world, the evil digital entity. And the code of this entity needed to be destroyed with a device. And there was a pickpocket expert, and she needed to remove this device with the code within 100 milliseconds. This is what they told it. And she asked, how fast is this? Said, faster than a blink of an eye. And this is why we need to talk about latency. Now, let me put the latency perspective on different applications. Speed of a blink of an eye, 100 milliseconds, depending on the day. If you have a hangover, it's higher. Then, standard applications on the internet, streaming, they require nowadays better than 65 milliseconds. If we talk about 4K high def resolution and live sports streaming, we're down to 30 probably, and better 25 milliseconds. Online gaming, real-time online gaming, requires better than 20. And if we talk about the latest applications on the mobility side, on robotics and digital healthcare, we're talking about even less than 1 millisecond. So this is what we need to achieve to make applications available and create the best experience for users. And we will achieve this. Now, these are all terms, as you can see, we all know about those. AI is the buzzword everywhere. And all the others, what do they stay for? They stay for the immersive internet. The immersive internet is literally digitalization of our life. And this digitalization of our life will require certain capabilities. And we predict that the infrastructure of the future will require the speed of human perception. Why? I will prove this in a couple of minutes. Oops. So we are talking about the perception of our tactile information. We're talking about video information and audio information. We're talking about how our brain functions. And this is what the immersive internet should achieve, should deliver in a way using the best infrastructure possible. Therefore, we are talking about a new internet requirement. AI, and I use this example based on robotics to display what this new internet needs and what type of infrastructure we will need to deliver this new internet. AI as a benchmark to set the borders of the new internet. Let's look inside of the AI, inside of a robot. If we imagine a robot is the device, and we need to look how this robot can function using AI. There are two different scenarios, obviously. The one is the training, and the other one is the inference. Inference is even the more exciting one, because inference is AI in action. Inference provides the real action behind the applications, behind the models. You see, the AI training consists of data computing and AI, the models, the LLMs. The inference consists of three elements: transmission technologies, the devices, and the models. And all this leads to a big data journey. The data journey between the devices, between the models, and the transmission technology, ending up to the robots. What is important here? Important is to create the controllability of this data journey through safe and secure infrastructure. Now, and this needs to happen everywhere, because we have data everywhere. Computing power is somewhere. Talking about the training requires big pipes, compute power, and latency is not that important. The risk is kind of manageable because if there is an outage, the training will not be harmed. But if we talk about the inference, and this is what I call it, the AI triangle, we are talking about very low latency requirements. We're talking about a high risk protection requirement. This is what the AI inference requires. We need to deliver this everywhere, following the model of transmission technology on site in the best way possible, connecting to devices on the lowest latency level possible, and serving at the end the models in those devices. Now, I want to bring this into perspective. Unfortunately, I do not see the icons there, but those icons, they stay for the perception, the tactile information, the video information, and the audio information. And if we think about all this together, they need to be managed. They need to be delivered to the robot, to the device, to the car in the best, with the best performance possible. This is what we call the routing of different AI models. Now, unfortunately, the format doesn't deliver a lot of nice pictures, but I'll try to explain better. Now back to the latency. Standard applications, we talked about this. They do require, 65 milliseconds, right? Now, the next one is interesting. Actually, we should have seen here a hand. A hand stays for a tactile information transmission. How our brain transmits tactile information. The information about cold, warm, soft, hard requires better than 18 milliseconds. The next one, 13 milliseconds. What do you think this stays for? It stays for the video information, how we perceive video signals in our brain. And last but not least, less than 1 millisecond is the audio information. So if we want to have a great immersive internet experience everywhere, the infrastructure delivering this experience has to meet the lowest number. Otherwise, the application will not feel natural. The robot will not function like a human being. This is the infrastructure we need. Put this in perspective to distance, because latency, speed of light, results to distance. What we see here, 3,000 miles, okay, not important for what I'm talking about. But this one, we're at 1,000 miles if it comes to 20 milliseconds. Let's see what will be the requirement for the full experience. We are talking about a distance between 50 and 100 miles from the application, from the AI inference model to the device, to the user. Therefore, Wichita deserves this infrastructure so much to deliver the next generation of digital experience for businesses and for users. So, thank you. So the slide looks normally different, but it's a summary. As I explained, global integration is good as needed. Global integration is important, especially if it comes to certain training models and data that has to be used for training in certain regions. However, we need a very high level of localization, as local as possible, as globally integrated as needed. And this is what we will create for Wichita, bringing the gravity, IP gravity, building healthy ecosystem in this way, with high interoperability, very close to the edge, distributed, and helping companies, and this is very important, to build their own internet, build their own ecosystem they need for their purposes, manufacturing, mobility services, retail, logistic, finance, you name it. And these are the three elements we want to meet, we will meet. Simplicity, the simple usage of digital services needs to be achieved. Security and compliance, extremely important, and the highest level of performance needed. This is what we will introduce from day one at the Wichita Internet Exchange in the IXP facility. The first-in-class AI-IX, DE-CIX introduced last week, literally, will be available from day one in Wichita, serving both, and this is very important now, the training purpose and the inferencing. Multi-routing of agents, of millions of agents, will happen on the platform. This will allow enterprises using different models, thousands of models, to use these in a very secure, highly aggregated, cost-efficient, and highly performable way. And the training is also very interesting. We do introduce next year the first-in-class GPU as a service community build using the Ultra Ethernet Nokia technology. What does this mean? We will be able to bring together different GPU installations into one virtual environment, allowing enterprises to use as much as they want and can, without limits, without borders. And this is the AI-IX for all types of industries. We call those blue. I'm sorry, the format is not, but literally we're talking about all the different type of industries will be served here on site in Wichita, not from the East Coast, not from the West Coast, here on site, building digital America. And this is, for me, a map that should change. And this map changes today. We introduce this dot on the map. And I'm very, very, very proud of this special day, and will be even more happy and proud when next year we will turn on the light on the platform and open the first exchange in Wichita, the first in time, growing the ecosystem here for great economic prosperity for all the users in this great region, but also for all the businesses supporting their prosperity and business growth. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.